Um, I'm Tony Butler. I'm the director of the Museum of East Anglian Life, also in Suffolk. We're hardy East Anglians. We made the trip west. I run an open-air museum based on an 80-acre site with 15 historic buildings and 45,000 objects. I've been director there for 5 years, and we've taken it from the position of near bankruptcy to be seen as an exemplar in cultural and social enterprise. And throughout this process, it's been really important for me to show that our organisation is both relevant but also has a capacity to re-evolve. And pioneering has been one of our key objectives. Our inspiration for pioneering is Ipswich Town Football Club. 30 years ago, it was a provincial, small town organisation, small town club, but that punched well above its weight. Most of its first team were internationals. It won the FA Cup in 1978 and the UEFA Cup in 1981. So it's been a big inspiration, and obviously they were sponsored by Pioneer, which was this slightly sort of cheesy connection there. But the learning for us was that they, as an organisation and as a club, they punched well above their weight. Meal, our museum, won the award of Entrepreneurial Museum of the Year last year, and it's been recognised for its lateral and imaginative thinking. It's opportunistic, but it's also underpinned by a strong sense of social purpose, and underpinning everything we do is the value of the cultural heritage of the area, and making what we do relevant to our visitors and users. This slide shows our May Day event that was organised via Facebook by some local people. It's not a recreation of the incredible string band. We're also not afraid to take risks with our programming, and we want to try the unexpected. This is a Canadian dance group called Les Moutons, who are linked to Dances, which is one of the country's major dance commissioning companies. And to celebrate the opening of the dance house in Ipswich, Les Moutons danced at the museum for a week, confusing all our visitors. We've also worked with a range of high-quality arts organisations. This is London Sinfonietta, who last year ran a programme with a group of 4 rural schools in Suffolk, where they encouraged 8 and 9-year-olds to compose and write their own music based on the landscape and the traditions of the area. We're also about to begin a £3 million capital development, which is to restore Abbott's Hall, shown here, and turn it into a gallery, an exhibition centre that explores the notions of home and belonging in East Anglia. And this has been subject to a major HLF bid, but also funding for 5 of the major trusts and foundations within the UK, which is a big achievement in terms of accessing money into a provincial place. But also, we're a really strong social and community organisation. So whether it's through our learning programmes, through our work with arts organisations, or through it's just being used as a cultural venue or a social venue, we connect with our public. And this is our very well-supported beer festival that's held every year and generates an awful lot of income to the organisation. We've also extended our reach outside of the UK. We're involved in a partnership with National Museums of Kenya, who are very keen to develop a social enterprise model based on asset development. We've exchanged visits, and this is a picture of me with a group of elders in a sacred forest, and this group have rehabilitated this forest over 20 years, which meant that all the invasive species that are kind of beset the place disappeared because they've been using traditional cultural and ecological methods of running the locality, which is a real piece of learning for us. And this partnership's again resulted because of a brokership by the British Museum and another connection for us. We've always worked with people on the margins of our community as well. Really strong sense of social purpose. This is a project we developed with the Alzheimer's Society, which encouraged the production of loans boxes that could go out to the homes of carers and individuals suffering from early stage dementia. And carers would borrow these boxes go out to the community, go out to people's homes and tease out memory and help with the therapy. Now, through working with people like the Alzheimer's Society and local social services clients, we decided to think more broadly about how we can use the assets of the organisation. So two and a half years ago, we set up our social enterprise, named after Apps Hall, the building we're about to develop. And our social enterprise has 4 prongs. First of all, we run an extensive training programme, a skills development programme, based on work-based learning. And through the last 2 years, over 140 people have come through our training programme, and 50 of those individuals have gone on to get jobs. And the programme focuses on basic skills, but also heritage activities, and social and confidence building, and team working. We also provide supported placements for people in receipt of individualised social care budgets. So we have 6 or 7 people at the moment who come to the museum for a couple of days a week with a carer and take part in volunteering and work-based activities with us, and we charge a fee to those individuals through their personalised budgets. We run a small horticultural business, which is also linked to our training programmes. We supply hanging baskets and bedding plants to a local council, and last year the council won a silver award in Anglian in Bloom. So, and that's been a very successful partnership that we've had with them. And last year we expanded our operations to link up with a large malting firm on the outskirts of Stowmarket. We found that our little polytunnel that we built on site wasn't big enough for our purposes, so they've loaned us the use of these large Victorian glass houses, which meant that we can expand our production unit. And that's been run as a partnership with Muntons on a grace and favour basis. So it's a good arrangement for us and good corporate social responsibility for them. Lastly, we're seen as a centre for volunteering in the county. We have over 150 volunteers on our books who contribute about 30,000 volunteer hours a year, which is the equivalent of everybody in Stowmarket working half a day at the museum each year. So it's a very large amount for the size of organisation, and we've been valued by other funders such as our local strategic partnership and the Suffolk Strategic Partnership to develop work around this area. Very recently, and I had the final report yesterday, we've started to measure robustly the effect of our work-based learning programme. So we contracted a researcher to use the social return on investment model to try and to look at the social value of our work-based learning programme. So the headline figures of every £1 invested in the programme, we give £4 back to a local community. Let's go back to that slide. But there's other key learning there too. That in working with other agencies, we've built the programme and made it more robust. We've impacted profoundly on families of individuals that are linked to the work-based learning. So it's not just those individuals that have gone to get work. But the killer thing was the impact of cultural heritage. The fact that these activities could be done anywhere, but the fact that they were working with historic objects in a historic environment really made the programme worthwhile. Now this work has sort of changed our thinking in terms of how we value the relationships that are built across the organisation. So the work in volunteering and through work-based learning has gone on to extend what's known as the core economy. And the core economy within our community are built upon relationships between individuals. And it's the relationships between individuals that can't be valued in an economic sense, which combine to really underpin our organisation. So our organisation's assets aren't just about valuing the buildings, the collections and the historic environment, but the social networks that we build up through our work programmes. One of the things that we've been very keen to promote is the obvious well-being impacts that these programmes are having. Through observation and through some research, we can see that what this kind of work is actually making people happy. People that had led very isolated lives, may have lived in rural communities and not socialised much, have now a new opportunity to build strong social networks. So we have people supporting each other through times of stress, Often they just run each other to the shops. But we're building a new community through our volunteers and through people that access the organisation, through our work programmes. And these are the really strong what sort of well-being impacts that the organisation has. That's also caused us to look slightly differently at how we interpret our material. So using what we've learned from these strong family and social networks that are built up within the organisation, we've tried to evaluate our material on a well-being basis. So we've worked with the New Economics Foundation's Happiness Index to try and evaluate when people would have been happiest within over the last couple of hundred years. And we worked on a project with a primary school in Lavenham called Happy Days, where we encouraged children to design themselves a happy day, but based on an understanding of their networks of families, friends, within the environment in which they live. Our approach has also caused us to develop some major work in traditional skills training. We're about to develop a £600,000 project linking up with another museum in Gresson Hall up in Norfolk, under the aegis of Skills for the Future. And we're going to be developing apprenticeships, more work-based learning, and short-term placements. So again, building on what we've learned through our activities, but also through these new networks that we've been building. Underpinning all of this is a really strong sense of social purpose within the organisation. We have carried out some extensive organisational development over the last year or so, where we've got users, volunteers and staff to really think about what our organisation stands for. And we boiled it down to these 4 principles. So the organisation is not just about its buildings, it's not just about its collections, but it's about those strong social networks and reaching out to the community and involving the community in our work. But also thinking about being prepared to look at the world differently and to look at new opportunities and and new partnerships which may arise, which Kate and I will probably talk about a bit later. So Nick sort of alluded to the fact that we were looking at some more extensive work around happiness, and we've been awarded some money by the Paul Hamlin Foundation to develop a project called the Happy Museum. And I put a blog up this morning because we're looking for a happy associate to work with us to look at articulating and measuring well-being, not just within our organisation but with others as well. So if anyone is interested, you can check my sort of Twitter feed and my blog for further details.